In this video series, I'm going to show you how you can convert an HTML-based site into a WordPress site. Now, the reason you would want to do that is because WordPress offers a lot of advantages over simple HTML. Your HTML site might be well made, however, it is static, so it's hard to make changes to it. Also, with WordPress, you get advanced security features that keep on getting updated. And it's easy to add other functionality to it using plugins. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a WordPress site, and we're going to emulate a sales page that I have. Now, I'm using a sales page because I happen to have one handy, but the same process would work for any site. You would just take each page and create a WordPress page and then add the content inside it. Okay, so here's what the site looks like that we are going to convert. Okay, so this is a simple sales page, and when we're done, we're going to have something that looks similar to this, almost exactly the same. There will be some differences, but we will get a site that looks pretty much like this. Okay, so in the next video, what we're going to do is we're going to be installing WordPress. If you already know how to install WordPress, then you can skip this video and go straight to video 3. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do a manual WordPress install from WordPress.org rather than using an automated installer. Good thing about an automated installer, of course, is that it's just a few clicks, but the bad thing about it is that it installs some other stuff along with it, and then you have to use that installer program to do the updates. Okay, so I like to just use a manual install. So over to WordPress.org, you want to download the most recent version, and we're just going to download the zip file. Let's save that. Okay, so I've got it into my working folder. In my working folder, I have my HTML site, and here's WordPress. So let's unzip this. So you can just use extract all if you're on a Windows machine, or you can use 7-zip. 7-zip's a free program that I like to use, and you can download that for free if you want to use that. The only reason I use it is because it's quite a bit faster to extract the files using this. Okay, so let's extract. Now while we're here, or while it's doing this, what we're going to do is we're going to go over and create our database. WordPress, of course, is database driven, so you're going to want to go and create a database for it in your control panel or whatever panel you use to control your site. So you want to go into your control panel and find databases. And if you have a MySQL database wizard, use this because it's the easiest thing to do. Otherwise, you have to go to your MySQL databases, create a database, and create a username. So let's go into here. And let's create a database. So I'm going to call this my site. Next step. And I'm going to call the username the same thing. Password, we'll use the password generator because it'll create a nice strong password for us. So copy this into your clipboard and just say that I've somewhere safe and use password. And we'll create the user. And then you want to give it all privileges here. And then next step. Okay, so it's been created. Now what we want to do is open a notepad session to copy this all down. Okay, so we already have the password in our clipboard. So let's just paste it in here. And now let's go and just copy a line off of our install screen here. So just copy this line it contains both the username and the database. So we can just copy that right here. Okay, so we have everything we need there. Okay, so at this point, we have our files all unzipped here. And we're ready to upload WordPress, and we have our database created. So let's go and upload this. Now to do that, you need a FTP client. I like to use one called FileZilla, and you can download that for free. Just do a search. Okay, when you install and open up FileZilla, you see something like this. On the left-hand side, this is your computer. On the right-hand side, this will be your server. So all you need to do is connect up to your server. So in your host name here, you can put your domain name, your username for your hosting account, and your password, and that'll connect you up. There's also a site manager where you can go into the site manager, key in your site manager, key in your name of your domain, your username and your password, and save that in there. This is a good thing to do because you can have multiple sites in here and it makes it easier to connect up. Okay, so go ahead and connect up to your site. Okay, so here it is. Now I'm going to create a directory to put my site in. So I'm just going to do create directory and my site. And then we're going to upload all the files into here. Now, even though we're uploading everything into my site, we can have it in the root, the directory or the main site in the root, and have the files in my site. So once we have our site looking the way we want, we can move it to our root directory, which our main site is probably in. And if it's in a directory, then we can change, we can rename, we can put it in a directory as well, just so everything matches up at the end. Okay, so we need to go into WordPress and find all the files, and then we're going to select all of these, Control A, upload these into our working folder. Okay, so we'll let those upload. Okay, so everything's uploaded. You just want to check down here, make sure you didn't have any failed transfers, so we know that everything has uploaded fine. Okay, so now what we can do is we just need to go to blank screen here. We just need to key in the location of our WordPress install, so your domain/folder name. Okay, and then hit enter, and it'll bring up the installer. So just pick your language. Okay, so it's telling us we need our database name, database username, password, database host, didn't go over that, and table prefix. Okay, so let's continue here. Now about the database host, let me just explain that. Localhost a lot of times is right, but not always. So what you want to do is go to phpMyAdmin in your control panel, which is right in with your databases here, phpMyAdmin. Okay, and then right up at the top here is our host name. So right here it says localhost. So whatever it says here, that's what needs to go in that spot. Okay, so that happens to be right in this case. So let's go to our notepad session here. Now we named both the database and the username the same. As long as the length wasn't too long, they will stay the same, but if the length is too long for the username, it's going to truncate it. So my site and my site. So we can put that in both the database name and the username. Okay, password, back to our notepad. Okay, localhost is correct in this case. And then our table prefix, you're going to want to change this. There are automated hacking programs out there that look for certain things in WordPress. One of them is the use of admin as a username, and the other one is looking for WP inside databases. So you want to change both those things, and we're going to get to the admin in a sec. So just call this something else. It doesn't matter what, something that makes sense. So I call this my site, so I'll call this MS. Now the reason this whole thing is here is so you can put multiple instances of WordPress into a single database. So if you have a shortage of databases on your server package, then what you can do is just make one database for WordPress, and then put every single install in that one database. Just differentiate them with the table prefix. Okay, so let's submit that, and then go and run the install. Okay, so here is where we start putting in our information. Now we can put in generic information right here at the beginning, or we could go and get the information off our site. I'm just gonna put in some generic information, and we'll go change this later. So my site. Okay, username. Now this is where I say don't call it admin. So I'm gonna call it anything else. Doesn't matter. Whatever username and password you want to use it here. Make sure you use a secure password though. Again, you want to prevent hacking at its root by choosing a strong password and a username other than admin. So I'm going to call this my site admin. Okay, and then password, and then down here your email address and allow search engine. So you can turn this off while you're designing it if you want, and turn it on later, or just leave it on. Okay, so now we're going to log in. And there we go. WordPress has now been installed. So in the next video, we're going to get started creating our site.